Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on today's show, some good news, bad news coming out of the folks over at General Motors. Let's start with the bad news. That being the Chevrolet SS, probably one of my favorite cars. If you watch some of these programs, you know that I have a real affinity for this car. Ultimate sleeper in a modern production vehicle. This being this car that kind of looks a little bit like a Malibu, kind of a little bit like an Impala, but inside the 6.2 liter normally aspirated V8 making 415 horsepower and 415 pounds-feet of torque. Shift through a 6-speed automatic or in later generations a 6-speed manual transmission, rear-wheel drive 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. But the trick is, over the past several years, in fact this entire life cycle, this vehicle has only sold just a little under 10,000 units for its entire life cycle. This little Australian transplant, known as a Holden Commodore down under, just really never went well here in the United States. And I really feel it's because General Motors never really produced any real advertisement for this machine to show off just how great this machine was. Now the trick was that most of the people that actually knew about this car were probably mainly NASCAR fans. The General Motors weapon of choice in the top-level series of NASCAR is the Chevrolet SS, and there's a possibility that those were the only people that really knew about this car. So the last go-round of this machine is going through right now. In fact, production is going in on the 2017 model year. And there were some early reports that through the end of February, you could actually get into the order books and order you up one. That is no longer the case, according to the folks over at WheelsMagazine.com, who are reporting that they were told by General Motors that those books are officially closed, that all 3,000 of the last generation of this machine are actually sold out. Now, that being said, only a handful of them are actually going to real folks. The bulk of them are actually just going to dealer lots, so you can still get your hands on one. There's a handful of 2016s on dealer lots as we speak, but you can still get your grubby little mitts on one of these machines for right around $50,000. Now that we've gone through the bad news, let's get some good news. General Motors showing off the brand new Camaro ZL1. In fact, they took this machine with its 6.2 supercharged LSA V8 making 650 horsepower, 650 pounds-feet of torque. This particular unit shifted through a 10-speed automatic transmission. In fact, they shipped this thing to Germany to the Papenburg Proving Grounds, where they have a massive oval there, and they wrung this thing's neck. In fact, there's a couple of shots in these videos where this thing does get over 200 miles an hour. General Motors officially putting its top speed at 198 miles an hour, meaning it's the fastest production Chevrolet Camaro ever in existence. And really, when you think about it, there's a Z28 that could be coming around the pike. Could this thing go faster? Could it go over 200 miles an hour? We'll have to wait and see on those fronts. After all the good news, at least in that particular story, let's go to some news that's... Aston Martin's going to show off this brand new DB11 at the Geneva Motor Show. But it isn't all about the DB11, it's about the Q organization inside of Aston Martin that does all the customization work for vehicles. And for the first time ever, they're going to get their grubby little mitts on the brand new DB11, meaning you can change almost anything on this vehicle. Trim level, colors, trim itself, the color of the machine itself, also the interior colors, interior trims, and even the wheel colors can be changed. But I have to say this, and I mean this when I say this, if any of you out there, in the sound of my voice, ever get one of these automobiles and order it up in this color with those wheel colors, we are no longer friends in any way, shape, or form, because this thing is... Sticking with the Q organization and with Aston Martin, and with a little help from the folks over at Red Bull Racing, who are getting geared up for the 2017 Formula One racing season, kicking off in Melbourne, Australia, in just a little over a month's time. They've hooked up with their friends at Aston Martin, longtime friends, to develop this particular machine, the brand new Vantage Aston Martin Red Bull Racing Edition. Now, obviously, you can get this thing in the Red Bull Racing colors, which is pretty cool. Obviously, it comes with a lot of other little goodies, along with the 2 trim levels that this vehicle comes in, that being the V8 Vantage Red Bull Racing Edition or the V12 Racing Red Bull Racing Edition as well. The V8 making 430 horsepower, the V12 making 565. And it comes with a lot of cool little touches. We showed off the headrest with the Red Bull Racing logo. Also, the sail panels, or I should say the seal panels, actually have these plates on them. There is a couple more plates on the vehicle as well, showing off the Aston Martin logos, the Red Bull Racing logos, and for extra little customization, you get to pick between the 2017 Formula One racing drivers inside the Red Bull Racing camp, that being the guy who's been around the longest, Daniel Ricciardo, and that new boy who's been killing it here lately, Max Verstappen. This is a pretty cool piece of kit. Now, the trick is if you want to go the full Monty and get the full Red Bull experience, it's shown off on the Red Bull Racing Facebook page. This is it in the real deal colors of the new Grand Prix machine. They've been running in this matte color over the past couple of seasons, so pretty cool piece of kit from the folks over Aston Martin and Q. And last up on the list, this is some sad news. We've talked about the late Paul Walker. Well, there's been a situation of a lawsuit going on with Meadow Walker, Paul's daughter, and her lawyer group have been going after the folks over at Porsche. Mr. Walker was tragically killed in a Carrera GT a couple of years ago, and Miss Walker is trying to go after Porsche for damages. Now, the situation is this. She's claiming that Porsche sold this vehicle knowing it was dangerous, and that this vehicle never had in any way, shape, or form, any sort of safety net, that being electronic driver aids in any way, shape, or form. Also, that Porsche knew that this vehicle had a reputation, but continued to sell it even after vehicles were having incidents. That being said, Mr. Walker was not in control of the Carrera GT during the incident. That control was actually by Mr. Roger Rodas, longtime friend and fellow racer, along with Mr. Walker. In fact, the two of them actually owned a race team. Mr. Rodas was actually racing in a road racing series that particular year the incident actually took place. These guys were by no means massive talents behind the wheel, but they were by no means newbies as well. Now, here's the trick. Mr. Rodas' family has already sued Porsche and has lost, but Meadows Group has actually got an interesting little inner office emails that it was going around ahead of Mr. Walker's incident, meaning back before Paul Walker had his tragic crash, where an inner office email got sent around showing off a picture of a Carrera GT that had been crashed, telling other folks inside of the company. I bet other Carrera GT owners are very happy about this situation because their cars are becoming more rare and more valuable with every one of these incidents. This, along with her group, the lawyer group, are claiming that this shows intent that Porsche knew that these vehicles were having issues. Now, here's the trick, or here's my 50 cents as far as what I think actually took place during this deal. I really feel this is a situation of cold tires. I have ever since the incident actually took place. I've driven very, very high-performance cars in with very cold tires. One being a first-generation Dodge Viper, which is basically like driving a missile with a steering wheel. But that particular machine, unless you get some heat in the tires, will not hook up the rear wheels to save its soul in any way, shape, or form. So, that's the way I feel that particular incident went down. It's a tragic incident. Took away two great people who had great families. It's really sad in every way, shape, and form. Hopefully this deal gets settled in court very, very soon. But it's a weird situation indeed going on between these two groups. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiast. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. The link's down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time. You get the first dibs on the brand new show.